So the I will read the question and then the base for the question because it's a long one.
Okay.
So the simple question is, how would you or could you empower each subgroup within WoW to offer things that the other groups will be willing to pay gold for?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. The setup is Final Fantasy's economy is set up in a way that every sub community, which is the raiders, the housing enthusiasts, and so on, what they provide is demanded by other community. Crafters give starting gear for raiders.
Uh-huh.
Raiders give access to materials for crafters. Uh, the housing people obviously use the services of the crafters and treasure hunters for decoration and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Given that WoW does not have housing, how would you implement uh, this kind of system for it to work?
Well, you could do it as on a more micro level. So obviously, without housing, it becomes a lot more challenging to do, but not impossible. So you could even Blizzard used to have this in some way, shape, or form with the way gear would be designed. So gear pieces would require sometimes multiple professions in order to get a gear piece done. You could do something like that, and that immediately involves almost all of the crafters in one way or another with things being made. So every crafter is important. You could do it with just pure sort of content for crafters to partake in, which then allows them to sort of work with other crafters in order to get that content done. Or just with cosmetics, just pure cosmetic items that require multiple crafters to work together. So, say, for example, mount sets or something like that. I think you could so easily have mount cosmetics where all of the professions would be involved in the creation of, say, for example, an armor for your horse or an armor piece for your saber or your tiger or something like that, right? Or your elk or your yak. There's a lot of different ways in which you can include all of them. Now, almost all of the ways in which you can do it without a housing system falls somewhat flat, but luckily World of Warcraft already kind of has a system that would allow for it, right? The system that would allow for it is garrisons. You already have garrisons right there. And garrisons right now could be turned into just a fun little piece of content because it's no longer central to the expansion. No one needs to be in the garrisons. But imagine if crafters could create different cosmetic items for your garrison. It's purely cosmetic, and you could through that change the way your garrison looked. How many people do
Yeah.
you think would actually go back to their garrisons just because they can now change their garrison to look better?
Surely enough for it to provide content to the player base. The reason I specifically picked these questions among the others is
Yep.
because of the implementation of profession reworks and dragon riding, because
Yeah.
it could be used for both and in both.
I agree actually with that. I agree actually with that.
I think they have a perfect opportunity to revitalize the economy in a quite natural way if they make it right, obviously.
I can see that. I mean, dragon riding is going to be a very big part of the expansion. And if you include professions in the sort of cosmetic crafting of dragon armors, dragon cosmetics, and stuff like that, it's instantly going to be something that people are going to want to do. So rather than going into armor specialization as a tailor, you decide, screw it, I want to go into dragon specialization. This is an alt. I don't really care about armors, but I do want to make dragon stuff. And that's what you can do, right? You're just going to make dragon stuff. And yeah, I think dragon riding, again, Is it going to be as effective as a game that has a housing system? No, because what
Unlikely, yeah.
what a housing system offers is just more options for stuff that crafters can make. But if you start to include all of the things that WoW already have, we have the farm in Mist of Pandaria, we have the garrison in World of Draenor, and now we have dragon riding. Well, suddenly there's actually quite a lot of things, that crafters can make cosmetic items for.
Yeah, especially building up on the Zereth Mortis, the forging of mounts.
Yeah,
That's, I think, a successful system that could be split into the professions, or
yeah.
that could pull from the professions.
I would agree with that. Yeah.